Oh, Albaz. Oh, I'm sorry. Dude, I can't read. Okay, I'm actually just like dyslexic. I'm sorry. I saw A. Okay, my bad. I'm like, why would they print ABC? 6, 6, 6. Is this 8? 4, 4. Wait a minute. I know this. Wait, no, I don't. I was gonna say this is like Lebellion or something. There. I'm confused. Are they all like Albaz? Hold on. Like Albion. This is the shitty one from Phantom Rage, the like Beast one, I think. Yeah, this one it looks like Lebellion, but the color's not right. I thought Lebellion was like yellow. Like it just like the wings. The wing. When I look at the wings chat, I instantly think Lebellion. Mirror Jade, I guess. Why is this one light and the rest of them are dark? This is the ultra rare though, so I guess it's the good. It has to be. They're all 25, chat. You guys know, so all the Albaz fusions, all are 25. Whenever I play Eldritch, I'm always like, if a Despia player summons one under skill drain, I'm like, I don't care, because all your fusions top out at 25. Ooh, what's this? Hold on. Can you guys see this? Yeah, you guys can see it. Who or what is this? Is this that Despian card, chat? Like the Despian, the one that like reborns of monsters? Is that? Yeah, Jib. This looks like the next Albaz lore step. Who the hell is this? So this card is hugging this. Who's the cute girl? I mean, yeah, this is not Ecclesia. Unless she, I don't know, became a vampire. So. Nah, this can't be Ecclesia. And she got a robot arm or something. I don't know. Let's see what else we got. Hey! Is that Oliver, chat? Is that Oliver? He's got a jacket like, what's his, like Tanjiro from Demon Slayer, where you have like the checker, you have like the little checker things inside. He's got that. I know his jacket reminds me of like Tanjiro's jacket from what he does have that, right? Tanjiro, I think it's like green, but it's got like a little checkerboard. But I'm pretty sure this is Aliber. I mean, it has to be Aliber, right? Aliber is like a ginger. He's got like red hair. So, if any of you guys read Japanese, chat, tell me what any of these cards say. A little bug just like flew onto my desk. I'm not gonna kill it. I'm just gonna push it off. Cool, it flew away. Phil's Ginger Man. Aliber is such a zoomer card. This lore might make no sense. I don't know. Like, I feel like the lore was cool. And then they added. I feel like it didn't make sense, chat, when they added the when they added the Therions in. That's when I felt like the lore was like, all right, what are we doing here? Now we're just doing something completely different. Like, what's going on? But this archetype looks. Also, the new archetype, chat. The what are they? Psychic. The level 7 psychic. Like, I don't even know what's going on with that. But this at least looks like it's focused on Albaz, and all his dragon forms are like in chains or something. What do you guys think this is? Because, like, that's kind of the thing. Like, if you look at these cards, chat, they all look like they're being... Maybe... Hold on. Maybe that's what's happening. But that wouldn't make... Like, he's constantly... So, hold on. All right, hold on. Let's what's it called? So, Aliber has captured Albaz. That's why he's, like, appearing or something. Looks like he's coming from the Despia world. Which, didn't we confirm, chat, that, like, Albaz is from this world? Like, wherever the Despia live, he's, like, Albaz is, like, he's from that world, too. He has captured him, and that's why, like, if you look at these artworks, it looks like these things are being bound and chained. And maybe this is Albaz, like, transforming to all his dragon forms, but they're all in chains. Like every single one of them looks like it's being bound, except this one. This one looks like it's in the, yeah, this one don't look like it's being bound at all, but the other three do. So it's like Ben 10. It's like this. It's like Ben 10. If Ben 10 was, if someone had captured Ben and they like were holding him down or whatever, and Ben was like transforming into all the different like forms, but he was still being restrained the entire time. That's what it's like, BP. I just don't know how to explain this, at least. And then I don't know what this is either. And then I think this is Aliber saying, haha, I caught you, loser. Now you're going to be my sex slave or something. I don't know. They're called Beasted. One of them looks like Lubellion. When they added Sword Souls, it started making way sense. Sword Souls just showed up and they were just like, I guess we're part of the story now. Yeah. What was the point of the Sword Souls, chat? What was the point of the Sword Soul? From the actual like continuity standpoint of the lore. What was even the point of the Sword Souls? Because it made sense at first that Aliber and Ecclesia were just traveling and the Dogmatica were trying to get them back. And they kept running into like new groups of people, and then the Dogmatica would like clash with them. Like that's what happened with Tri-Brigade and with the what else was in that lore? That's what happened with like Tri-Brigade and like Spriggans. I guess I don't know. Spriggans were kind of stupid. You know what I mean? But then like Sword Soul is like, okay, so is that still kind of the thing? Y'all just like ran into the Sword Soul? I guess. Like I don't know. It did make like not a lot of sense when Sword Soul showed up, to be honest. Yeah, Sword Soul like just shouldn't have been in the lore. You know. The light one looks like Aliber's fusion. This one, Jabril? I mean, which? Wait, Aliber doesn't have a fusion? What are you talking? You're saying Aliber doesn't have a fusion, does he? Does Aliber fuse too? I guess hold on. I guess technically he could, because if Despia are from the same world as Albaz, then like maybe they all have the same powers. Kind of like how the he's Lubellion. What? I guess that would kind of make sense. It's like how the Kryptonians, chat. Any of you guys ever watch Man of Steel? I used to hate the Kryptonians when I was a kid, chat. I'm like, oh, the Kryptonians are lame. But then I actually watched like Man of Steel, like, yo, the Kryptonians are actually dope. Of course they're super strong, because they're just like Clark. They're from the same planet. So of course they're like OP. So they like I started liking them then. Masquerade. So that's wait, so Masquerade is all the so hold on. All right. Let me wrap my head around this. So he can turn into a dragon as well, and he's got a bunch of different dragon forms too. Is that what you guys are telling me? That just like how Albaz has like 50 different dragon forms, that Aliber does too. That actually makes a ton of sense. He has red hair! That's why he's a ginger too. Oh my god, it actually makes sense. This dragon has red hair because he has red hair. Wow. Despian. Are any of the other ones? Well, okay, yeah. Are any of the other ones him as well? Are you guys are saying that he is Lubellion and he is also Mary Jade, chat, or no? Or are you saying that Mary Jade is Aliber? This shit is confusing, bro. This shit is like buku confusing. Aliber can transform into he can transform into Masquerade and Lubellion. Those two specifically. Okay, I get it. And Mary Jade is Albaz. Okay, this oh my god. So alright. So like okay. Hold on. So like, why are they fighting though? Is this like Dragon Ball? Where it's like, alright, we sent you to this world to conquer it, but then you started fucking up, so now we gotta like kill you? That's like kind of like loosely Dragon Ball-ish, kind of. It's like, alright, we're really just like conquerors, bro. So when we send you to these planets, don't just go be, don't go around falling in love. Like, you need to go conquer the planet. That's what we do. You know what I mean? They're evil. Yeah, but then, like, why wouldn't Albaz just be evil too? He's from the same planet. Like, it should be like the same. And don't be like, well, he's the one good one. You know what I mean? He wants to fuse with Albaz. So it's like Cell from Dragon Ball Z, where it's like, I need to reach my higher power cuz. Like, okay, if it's like Cell, like, that worked in Dragon Ball. Like, that's okay. Everything can be related to Dragon Ball, by the way. He hit his head. Albaz fell for Eclipse. He wants that Dogmatica Eclipse. Any ideas, chat, for the last 3 cards? I want more. I just honestly want more. You know what? I'm gonna just put more like skilled dark magicians in, because I want a bunch of just like generic spellcasters just in case I get her off. Here's the most recent lore and how it's connected. Who made it? 41
That's
minutes.
all I have to say about Splight. Normally...
Oh, right. Splider's supposed to be part of the lore. Whoa. Yo. This video got 100K? Yo, press 1 if time to start busting out some lore videos, chat. 100K? That's kind of, or I mean, it's a 2-year-old video, but like, you guys know how I feel about the evergreen 100K is fine. Like, I don't care if a video takes 2 years to get it. 100K is an accomplishment.
That's all I have to say.
Like, respect. He's doing the job that, well, I didn't do. Well, I mean, I wasn't thinking, so like, I don't like the idea of these like overarching lores, chat, because I think they take too long and I think they get too confusing. Like, what was the one that we had before, chat? World Legacy. I was gonna say Orcus, but that wouldn't be proper terminology. World Legacy. Like, I think these lores, because now, chat, the lores last like an entire era, which I don't agree with. I don't think the lore should last 3 years, chat. Like, we don't need lores that are that long, but Dogmatica lore or Albaz, whichever one you want. I guess Albaz would be the proper term. Albaz lore looks like it's going to be 3 years, chat. World Legacy lore was 3 years. These are too long. However, I always thought about doing videos of like MBT's new series is popping off. What is it? I'm actually not sub to MBT. I mean, honestly, anything MBT is doing, anything MBT just has, I don't know, the spark, the momentum. So it wouldn't surprise me. I'm thinking about, what's it called? I'm thinking about lores like Sangan lore, chat. Wait, why are you guys shocked that I'm not sub to MBT? I like MBT. I'm just not sub to him. Jeez. So you're saying the little lolly girl is the ritual? You're saying the little lolly girl, you're saying the little lolly is the ritual? I told you it. I mean, I just felt like they put so much emphasis on that card to like not do anything with her. Interesting. Her body was possessed by the spirit of the first saint. The closed eyes implies that the red girl in the art is the ritual. She's hotter than Ecclesia. She's also probably like 8 years old, so, you know. Speaking of R. Kelly, Twitch chat, who wants to become the new R. Kelly in this stream? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that girl's like maybe like 8 years old or something like that. So, probably not it. She's evil? Well, hold on. Here's the question. What are the Dogmatica like actively even doing? So you're saying like she's a bad guy, but like what are we know that Fleur-de-Lis became good, but like what are the rest of the Dogmatica like? What is because the Dogmatica basically is a church, right? It's like a cult church. You know, like what are they like actively doing? Because they went to like Albaz's world. And I think they definitely followed them there, which was a mistake. That feels very aliens-ish. You know what I mean? Are they trying to... This is how Fleur dies. Can we just look at this card? Looking very... Defo. Okay, this is a card from the current set. I don't know. I just play cards. I don't read. Just watch this segment. Yeah, see, like, if you don't... The interesting thing about Yu-Gi-Oh! Chat is if you don't, like, really look at these cards, you won't know a lot about... Like, you won't really recognize this lore. It's like, bro, I just play Despia. I play the good cards. Don't play the bad cards. If a card is, like, bad, I'm probably not going to know it. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to, like, know all this, like, obscure stuff. What about Ice Jades? Is that the shitty archetype that's like water? People said that it's like part of this storyline. I don't know what they even do, to be honest. Sorry, not this. I know Mirror Jade, but not Ice Jades. Ice Jades aren't part of the
information we get, oh no. We also get a better understanding of the relationship between Dogmatica and the Despians. It clears up that the ritual being conducted by Maximus in the art of Dogmatic Calamity is them bringing about something called the Day of Gospel, which takes the stigmata, the mark of power bestowed by Maximus via the Nexus to the population of Dogmatica, and unseals it, transforming it into a brand, one that's tied directly into the power of the whole, and thus turning every citizen of Dogmatica into one of the Despia. Now, this initially made me think that the comedy...
Really? But why?
And tragedy of Despia were just random citizens, but it's actually more likely that they're the procession that showed in the art of White Relic of Dogmatica. Part of the text says that from the relic that had transformed into the White Knight of Dogmatica, which we now know as Despian Queritus, crawled repulsive yet beautiful creatures, which I suppose fits these things. One of the reasons why the relics like full creature Dogmatica, which we now know as Despian Queritus, crawled in the art of White Relic of Dogmatica. Part of the text says that from the relic that had transformed into the White Knight of Dogmatica, which we now know as Despian Queritus,
are they saying that she became this? Ew.
Called repulsive yet beautiful creatures, which...
By the way, no? This is confusing. Okay. By the way, is that not, chat, like, literally the perfect description of Despia to a T? Repulsive, yeah, maybe beautiful. I think it is. I think yes. As opposed to Predaplants, which are just repulsive and ugly. Like, Despia's like a little beautiful.
I suppose
like an ugly diamond.
One of the reasons why the relics like Nexus and Fleur's armor are also transforming into Despians is because they're actually inhabited by the souls of previous saints of Dogmatica, and they're now animating the relics to do their bidding. Maximus also partakes of this power to become Dramaturge, so they weren't using the guise of the highest authority of the church to hide this maniacal-looking form, they just transformed into it willingly, counter to my previous theories.
I totally forgot. Yeah, Maximus becomes a Despia. Dramaturge. Same cape and, okay, yeah, I forgot about that.
At least so far as we know. What it doesn't expound upon is anything about Aluber. They just kind of show up as the Day of Gospel is happening, and they can turn into Masquerade, which is...
Okay, he's saying they. Is that like a... Are we saying we don't know if Aluber is a dude or a girl, or what are we doing here with a they? Because it says boy. So it's just feeling a little too MBT here. Anytime someone says they, chat, to refer to something, like, I instantly catch on it. If it's not more than one person, like, I instantly catch on that. You know what I mean? First time I ever heard that was She-Ra, and my antenna instantly went up. But it says a boy, so, like, they don't need a they. It's just boy. Anyways, sorry.
Show up as the Day of Gospel is happening, and they can turn into Masquerade, which is an odd detail that we'll get into later. There's also some information about Tri-Brigade I wasn't privy to, though this comes primarily from Valuable Book 1. Apparently, they're the remnants of outcasts from a variety of villages throughout the Abyss. It's the classic JRPG, we can't trust the Beastmen trope. And while wandering the world, they eventually found each other and formed their own tribe, settling in the Land of Iron. However, after seeing all the messed up stuff going on in Dogmatica, Shrek rallied a bunch of them together to fight them. We even know why they were in Dogmatica the day Albaz fell from the sky. They were invading the capital to rescue their comrades who had been captured, which gave them all the more reason to protect Albaz and Ecclesia. There's a big emphasis about how they can sympathize with being cast out from society. And because of the way Albaz was being treated by the church, as well as how Ecclesia was likely going to be kicked out because of the compassion they showed to Albaz, it really tugged at their heartstrings. What about
standoff, right? Dude, why did, of all of these cards, chat, why Tri Brigade got like the coolest cards? And I don't even just like looking, like Tri Brigade has like the coolest cards.
Which gave them all the more reason to protect Albaz.
I think this, look, hot take, I think that this storyline peaked with Tri Brigade. Because like Tri Brigade got like the coolest looking cards, Sharig, and like all the cards, Tri Brigade, like Revolt and stuff, like those are like the coolest looking cards in the storyline. I don't get this.
There's a big emphasis about
what's there not to get? Albaz fell from the sky. Ecclesia was about to like actually kill him by hitting him with a hammer, and then she was like, you're hurt and you don't really seem like you're gonna try to kill people. So then she showed him like mercy. It was like, okay, maybe I shouldn't kill him. And then Dogmatica were like, hold up, what? Like, you need to kill him. And then Tri Brigade showed up. All of it. No, I don't think, no. I think what Dolan said was right. I think the storyline was like very easy to follow right until the Sword Soul came in. When the Sword Soul came in, then I felt like it didn't make sense anymore. Like, who the hell are these people? You know what I mean? I think the Despia part was like a cool twist. It's like, oh, now the story is, Albaz is from this different world. Now we're going to his world. That was kind of cool.
How they can sympathize with being cast out from society. And because of the way Albaz was being treated by the church, as well as how Ecclesia was likely going to be kicked out because of the compassion they showed to Albaz, it really tugged at their heartstrings. What about the Springans? Well, we've got that too. Apparently...
Now, this you can... Fucking cringe ass arc. Yeah, this is like... Yeah.
The ones we know...
Sorry.
Today are an offshoot of another tribe that was all about getting fuel and burning it up and doing it all over again to burn as bright as they could. But some members of that tribe didn't like the way they did things, so they...
Really? That's your aspirations, chat? Can I get a clap if, Oscar level material, chat? Oscar level material. Yep. Just some robots that went around burning fuel, and some robots were like, ah, nope, we don't burn fuel, right? Like actual Oscar material right here. Yep, deep, awesome lore. This just should have been skipped. The Spriggans should have been skipped as an archetype. Just nope. Just skip them.
Split off and ended up in Golgonda, where several holes there ended up spitting out industrial material that these people bonded themselves with, and thus we got the Spriggans. Now, based on what we know about our Gyro, the land the Spriggans came from...
I gotta be honest, I thought the Spriggans were just robots that, like, Kit built. I didn't know that they were actual, like, I don't know, sentient beings or something. I thought, like, Kit actually just built them, and that they were just, like, I don't know, like, she was just, like, a kind of a science engineering nut. And she just like would randomly build. I mean, she fights robots and shit. So
is
like,
likely the land of iron. This is further supported by two
imagine
things.
if VW
One,
had
it
this
seems
lore.
like this tribe is familiar with the now matured Shreg that comes across them in the desert as they're traveling, which implies that they came from the same space, split off, and are now reunited. 2, I've pointed out the similarities between our Gyro and the Springans before, as well as how the Springans and Splites have a similar naming convention. It also doesn't hurt that both are generally non-solid organisms possessing solid bodies, one made of plasma, one made of soot. But what would cause such a split? Well, if our Gyro's obsession was to gain fuel and burn continuously over and over again, that ties into the fact that they're tied into an active volcano. And that energy gets used towards creating gladiatorial fighters to fight more things. Now, the Springans, they like to be flashy and explosive as well, but theirs is in the form of things like fireworks. Their explosions...
Go to Sword Soul. Okay, the part where it's gonna get stupid. Oh, there we go, Sword Soul.
...of potential sleeping deep inside...
Yeah, I gotta be honest, I'm like, what are they talking about?
...them... Rather, it was his stigmata unlocking from the Day of Gospel, as it happened around that time. We also clear up what in the heck happens with Fleur at this point in the story. Previously, I was confused that Fleur would leave Dogmatica, meet Ecclesia and Albaz, and then all of a sudden disappear when they went to the Sword Soul Summit. As it turns out, Fleur does meet Ecclesia and Albaz in the desert, we have the art for that, and at that point, Fleur does decide to go back to Dogmatica to put an end to Maximus's schemes. Albaz and Ecclesia decided to look for a way to not just suppress the brands, but to seal them for good, so they head to the Sword Soul Summit. Notably, the text says that Ecclesia and Albaz are headed towards those who saved Fleur. So while I feel like the suppressive weapons of the Tri-Brigade should have had an impact on their stigmata not fully awakening into brands, it appears that the sealing of these stigmata was done by the Sword Soul, likely shown in the art of Sword Soul Emergence. It also explains how they themselves would become part of the Sword Soul archetype, learning to channel their soul's power through their weapons. However, I'm not sure how the Sword Soul came to be in Dogmatica to save Fleur in the first place.
That's what everyone's like. How did they? Why were they like what? Just why are they here? So they went to a mountain, which is Sword Soul Summit. But like what? It just doesn't explain like why Sword Soul entered this conflict to begin with.
The only other explanation is that Fleur somehow left Dogmatica, got to the summit, had their stigmata sealed, and met Ecclesia on the way back all before Ecclesia and Albaz got further than the desert of Golgonda. The text doesn't currently have an answer for this, and I couldn't find any, so it really just ends up raising more questions than answers. However, this does confirm that what we see in the artwork of Ice Jade Cradle is a vision of Fleur, not Fleur themselves, which is supported by these strange vision bubbles in Trevor's artwork. This brings us to the Sword Soul. Like we knew before, they guard the Ice Jade, and in return, they grant the Sword Soul the weapons made of themselves. It turns out that the Inian...
Okay, so Sword Soul guard the Ice Jade, which is probably the word, like, what? Also another archetype that just shouldn't have been in here.
Cradle is itself a larger organism that created Empress Cosmiclore as a representative, who would in turn make the other Ice Jades. However, Ecclesia and Albaz can only visit the Ice Jade Cradle after being verified by
Hey! I know this guy. This is the Sword Soul, level 10. The one that, like, always beats me.
Chun, whose horn can tell good from evil. And speaking of evil,
Supreme,
something I was right about was that Long Yuan was a dirty, no-good traitor this whole time. However, the Sword Souls have Chun, which can detect evil, so what gives? Well, get this. Long Yuan split his sword into a light and dark half and gave the dark half to Mo Yi, one of his disciples. Now, why Mo Yi wasn't cast out long ago because of this, I have no clue. But when it comes time to tip the scales, Long Yuan takes back their dark sword and assumes their true form, Qijing Long Yuan, clashing against the collective efforts of the Sword Soul Sovereign and the Ice Jade Guardian Conscript, Kingfisher. While all of that's happening, Aluber decides to show up as the Despia launch a full-scale assault on the Sword Soul and Ice Jade. Previously, the mountains had been protected by a mist that diverted anyone who tried to invade. But the new...
I'm sorry, so where's Mo Yi? What happened to her? If Mo Yi was a bad guy too.
Power granted to Dramaturge overpowered that, so teleporting in via the holes was now possible. Aluber began to use the power of the hole to sap Albaz of their dragon-changing power, which I assumed Aluber already had because of their masquerade form. One could argue that Masquerade is technically a fiend, not a dragon, but neither are a lot of Albaz's forms, Bergrand and Splind being the primary examples. Do those simply not count, even though they have dragon in the name? Though this could be me assuming a have-not dichotomy where there isn't one. Based on the images of Branded in White and Branded in Red, it might be that Aluber doesn't lack that kind of power, rather he just wants Albaz's.
Branded in Red is Aluber? Oh. So what is he turning into Masquerade chat in Branded in Red? I didn't even know that. Again, like, I don't play Despia, so like, I don't look at these cards. This one's Aluber. Oh.
As well. But regardless of what the reasoning might be, Aluber steals this power, transforming into Lubellion, and uses their power to finish off both the Sword Soul Sovereign and the Ice Jade Empress. But not wanting their power to go to waste, to give the Sovereign, transforming into Lubellion, and uses their power to finish off both the Sword Soul Sovereign and the Ice Jade Empress.
Damn! Yo, no wonder this card's ultra rare. What? No wonder this guy. This is like the most honest. You always think Mirror Jade's the broken one. I'm like, I don't know, Jack. Apparently, this card could do other things other than just summon Mirror Jade.
But not wanting their power to go to waste, to give them one last fighting chance to defeat Aluber and the Despian army, they give their power to the now dragon transformingless Albaz, turning them into Mirror Jade, the Ice Blade Dragon. And
that's why he has Jade in his name. Because he comes from the Ice Jades. Dude, it's actually making sense now. That's why. So he couldn't transform. So as they died, they gave him their powers. That's why he's a Jade. Because he got powers from the Ice Jade. It's all coming together. That's why we... Press 1 if Ice Jade redeemed, chat. Ice Jade served its purpose in the lore. There you go. It's all coming together. We had to sit through that shitty archetype because of this moment right here. If we didn't get shitty Ice Jade, chat, we wouldn't have got the meta-defining Mirror Jade monster. There you go. Ice Jade actually did serve a purpose somehow.
So, Mirror Jade and Rebellion, Albaz and Aluber begin fighting, and because of this, eventually fuse into a single being, Alba Renatus. Gee, I wonder where we've seen this plot beat about two dragons who look the same fusing into one creature before. Bonus points, the evil one is using a mysterious power to corrupt things into other forms. At the same time, Fleur is in Dogmatica, looking to get even with Dramaturge.
Okay.
Fleur strikes what they think is a fatal blow against Dramaturge, but it was all an illusion made by White Relic of Dogmatica, who, as it turns out, is the reanimated body of the first Saint of Dogmatica, Quem. A piece of info that's made by White Relic of Dogmatica, who, as it turns out, is the reanimated body of the first Saint of Dogmatica, Quem. A piece of info that's thrown in that doesn't have any immediate relevancy is that there are 663 brands of saints in Dogmatica, each one possessing a sacred relic that's steeped in despair, and that the remaining 2 will become sweet nourishment. So it looks like Dogmatica/Despia is looking to reach the magical number 666, and getting back Ecclesia and Fleur to add to their collection is key. Though that makes me wonder, if Fleur is Saint 664, and Ecclesia is Saint 665, who's Saint 666 going to be? This brings us to the present day, and so...
Wait. So are they saying there's one more Dogmatica, chat? Like there's one more member that has like yet to be revealed? It's supposed to be the Genesis girl. No. No. That's what he just said. Literally, I can answer this all. Fine, smart Alec. Do it. Just ask me.
So
fine, I am asking.
Talk about what happens in Power of the Elements. Let's begin with the Kit storyline.
Oh, I guess
the last thing we saw was Sargus struggling against regular.
What's the question? Who's the final member of Dogmatica? Like, he said that they're aiming for 666 members, and if Ecclesia and Fleur are like 664 and 665, which is why I guess they need to get them back, then who's like the last member? You know what I mean? Netis? Shut up. They're not even... It's Mo Yi. I mean, according to you guys, she did.
The final combatant of the Therian's gauntlet. Now, we don't see who
tournament arc
stand up, but I assume it's Sargus, because in the image of Splite's starter, our Gyro looks very, very mad, almost like their prized contender had lost a very important match. We know now that it's possessed of a fierce fighting spirit, and it probably doesn't take losing very well, and as such, decided to take matters into its own hands. And so, we get the Splites. On top of that, the Therians have another combatant we haven't seen.
No way! Is this where Splites came from? This electricity? What? This random electricity from the Therion card? This is where the Splites come from?
Fierce fighting.
He was like, I'll do it myself. I'll make a tier 0 deck.
Spirit, and it probably doesn't take losing very well. And
Saint 664 and 665 are supposed to be Floor and Ecclesia to be killed after falling into despair by having the first saint he possesses, Genesis Girl, presumably after Floor and Ecclesia fall. The Quam is the 666 sacrifice. So you're saying the little girl? Like the little girl who they made into like the little ritual. I mean, I guess she wasn't part of them before. Okay.
And as such, decided to take matters into its own hands. And so, we get the Splites. On top of that, the Therians have another combatant we haven't seen before, as well as giving Regulus a second wind. The first monster is Therian's Empress Alasia, a level 8 Earth reptile monster with 2100 attack and 2500 defense. It works like all the other Therians, and their effect is that you can discard a
I don't care about this.
monsters in general. 8 Spring Machine monster with 1600 attack and 2800 defense, giving it the reverse battle stats of Regulus. This may seem like a big downgrade, but give it a minute and I think you'll change your tune. Unlike the other Therians, which can be special summoned from the hand by equipping another Therian or like-typed monster from the grave, Irregular has you targeting up to 3 Therians without the option for a type-specific match, and equipping the targeted monster to it as you special summon Irregular. With 3 Therians giving 700 attack each, this puts Irregular at an astonishing 3700 attack.
This card probably is shittier. What do you mean?
Loaded up with 3 Therian's effects. They can also discard an Endless Engine Argyro to destroy all cards your opponent controls. Yeah, a total board wipe. That is ridiculous. Unfortunately, this is not an effect you can give to your other Therians, but that's where its next effect comes in. While equipped to a monster, say by being targeted for the summon of a Therian, you can special summon a regular, then equip the monster it was previously equipped to Irregulars. The lightning coursing through a regular pretty clearly hints that it's the Splites that are juicing it up, which is once again another parallel between them and Sargus. Regulus's face didn't previously have a snout, but this could be a replacement part, since we know the Therians use their defeated enemies for parts, which implies that Sargus punched Regulus so hard their face came off. They couldn't even get the jaw right, which is why it's now made of lightning. The art for Splite Smashers shows a free-for-all going on between the Therians, Springans, and Splites. Irregulars is up against one of the Rockies in the foreground, while it looks—
Wait, so Regulus is dead, chat? Right, Regulus is dead? Who killed him? Splite will summon Toad. Yeah, it seems like not this one, right? One of these killed him? Maybe it was this one. What's this got to do with Despia? Who knows? Yeah, what does this got to do with Despia? Like, this is weird.
I'm an Irregular. With 3 Therians giving 700 attack each, this Regulus's face didn't previously have a snout, but this could be a replacement part, since we know the Therians use their defeated enemies for parts, which implies that Sargus punched Regulus so hard their face came off. They couldn't even get the jaw right, which is why it's now made of lightning. The art for Splite Smashers shows a free-for-all going on between the Therians, Springans, and Splites. Irregulars is up against one of the Rockies in the foreground, while it looks like Empress and Gigantic are clashing. Sargus is watching, but I'm not entirely sure what to make of this. Maybe Alasia sees this as a bridge too far, but without more concrete information, I'm stumped. However, I do like that the Splite Smashers does at least give us a pretty strong confirmation of the 3 themes' connections. We'll have to wait until next time to see how their story develops. Shifting our focus back to the Sword Soul Peak, things have not gotten much better. The combination of Albaz and Aluber, Alba Renatus has been born, while the Ice Jade Empress Cosmoclore has died, leaving behind Aegerin, the next in line as the scion of the Ice Jade's power. The imagery here is cripplingly somber. The image of a small child watching their mother crumble to dust, with the stark white background widening our perspective of distance between them from a few feet to a chasm of loneliness.
It's not that bad. I mean, if you look at the ice barrier lore, who was it? Noelia? She killed her own daughter. So it's basically the reverse of this. I mean, this little girl didn't kill her. But yeah, it's like the reverse of that.
We don't see any more of Adrian in this story, specifically, but we do see their possible retaliation. An Ice Jade creation, much like Kingfisher. Ice Jade creation Aegirocasis is a level 7 water aqua tuner monster with 2000 attack and defense. And a monster equipped with Aegirocasis gains 400 attack and defense for each banished monster.
Oh, it works with Ice Jades, yeah, okay, whatever.
In particular, this Ice Jade creation is grounded and sharp, based on the ancient arthropod Aegirocasis that lived 480 million years ago in our time. Each of its spines end in the black and red primal marking of the Ice Jade, but here it's different. The brutal contrast of the calm blue and white ice and the black and red tips make it look like each one is coated in blood. If this really is Adrian's first creation as the new wielder of the Ice Jade's power, it's hard to fault them for bringing to life such a grotesque creation. As for Alba Renatus, it appears that Albaz isn't meant to be under Aluber's thumb for long. Branded Separation is a normal trap that tributes a fusion monster, then targets 2 non-fusion monsters that are banished and or are in either player's grave, and special summon one of them to each side of the field. Or if you tributed a fusion monster that mentions Fallen of Albaz.
Here's the question. Why did Aluber want to fuse with Albaz, chat? Was this just a situation where, like, we'll fuse together and I'll have control and I'll become stronger? Is that why? He's Cell. Like, Aluber and Albaz are implied to be 2 halves of the same person. So I can't think of a character like that. It would have been bad. I was gonna say they're twins, they're brothers. I like that more. According to Rai, it's like Cell in 1718. It's actually just Cell.
As material to activate this card, you can special summon both targets to your field
and Aluber is Cell
instead. So it's like a defusion, but you aren't limited to the monsters used as fusion material, and you get to keep both if you tributed an Albaz Dragon. Though, funnily enough, if you summon to both players' side of the field, you can summon them however you want, whereas if you tribute an Albaz Dragon, they have to come back in defense position, so keep that in mind. The art shows Albaz erupting from what seems to be the red orb on Alba Renatus' chest, but we don't see how that comes to pass. The way they're falling, facing towards the orb, doesn't feel like Albaz cut themselves out, rather that they were ejected unexpectedly. I theorize that Aluber is behind this, having absorbed everything they need from Albaz and not wanting them to find a way to interfere, so Albaz was released, now in their humanoid form. And we get a better look at them with their new monster card, Albaz the Ashen. Like their original form, they're a level 4 Dark Dragon monster with 1800 attack and 0 defense, and this card's name becomes Fallen of Albaz while on the field or in the grave. While you have a level 8 fusion monster in your grave,
so now Aluber is just that dragon by himself.
Each monster in your grave. Also, your opponent can't target monsters you control with card effects except
it's crazy.
This.
I never played any of these
and
archetypes.
If any number of monsters you control leave the field by an opponent's card effect, while both this card and any number of fusion monsters are in your grave, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card. This is actually incredible fusion material for branded fusion.
Man, don't nobody care about the like, bro. I'm not.
DESPIA have is Asmir are in trouble.
Just talk about
They're
the lore.
now armed only with a fragment of the Ice Jade blades they had as Mirror Jade, and using it to stand up against the brutal advantage the DESPIA have is going to be nigh impossible, especially since Albaz is missing their signature gems. Ever since we started, there's been a white gem on Albaz's hands, head, and chest. And while we can't see the chest in this art, we can see that the other slots are now empty, likely a result of Aluber's theft. This is also reinforced by the mechanics, as the original version of Albaz is capable of fusion summoning, but this one is not. Another mechanical nod also comes from the name Ashen, something it shares with the first fusion form of them we ever saw, Titaniclad the Ash Dragon. While the boost isn't the same, they both still gain an attack bonus based on other factors, and where Ash Dragon was unaffected by extra deck monster activated effects that turn their fusion summoned, Albaz the Ashen keeps other monsters from being targeted by card effects. It's not a clean one-for-one transmission of effects, but it has attack gain and some kind of protection. I feel like that's more than a coincidence given their name. And if we keep looking through the imagery, things get more and more bleak. See, hiding on Albaz's shoulder is a single Springand in soot form, and there shouldn't really be any Springands with them. The only one they brought with them was the Rocky and Ecclesia's hammer, which, looking at the background, we can see shattered. Part of the skull lying ominously on the ground. Another worrisome sign about our hero's odds of success. This brings us to our last card, Branded Central Dogmatica, a continuous spell that has 2 triggered effects. If you special summon a ritual monster with a spell effect and
Ecclesia's right here.
Except during the damage step,
right there.
You can look at either extra deck and send a monster from it to the grave. If you special summon a fusion monster with a spell effect and no other monsters, except during the damage step, you can target that monster, and until the end of the turn, it gains attack equal to its original attack, but it cannot attack except to attack an opponent's attack position monster.
I don't care about
For Dogmatica, this is another way to rip Despian Priskinian, previously the Dogmatica Nexus, its doors swung wide to reveal an Iron Maiden coated in blood.
Rip.
Fleur's blood. Ecclesia mourns the death of her dear friend, while Kuem, the first saint, kneels over them with a look of graceful contentedness, a horrifying reaction to this loss of life. It appears that the 664th saint has been claimed. Will Ecclesia be the next? Unfortunately, we can't say. For in another cruel twist of fate, that's where the lore cards for this...
So they have to sacrifice members? Like the member actually has to die? Hold on, I need to...
Will Ecclesia be the next?
Yes.
Unfortunately...
Yo, what a bussin' church. What a bussin' church.
We can't say.
You gotta kill people.
For in another cruel twist of fate, that's where the lore cards for this set end.
Is the title a reference to Technoblade, or did we lose someone else too? We lost this person right here. Her name is Dogmatica Fleur-de-Lis, and she was very special to us, chat. Can I get an F in the chat for the most special member of Dogmatica? We will never forget her. And also rip Technoblade.
It appears that the 664th saint
That's
has
what the
been
title
claimed.
is.
Will Ecclesia be the next?
Rip.
Unfortunately, we can't say. For in...
So, I guess we're waiting to see what happens with Ecclesia. Dude. You know, when someone explains the lore, it actually is quite interesting, chat. What do you guys think? You know what I mean? Like, I still don't, like, I mean, the source, like, I guess they're protecting the Ice Jades. The Ice Jades destroy the stigma. Like, I don't know, it's shit a little confusing, to be honest, but whatever. Saved us from Dragoon. It's neat. I was falling asleep. Like, I don't know. I kind of like it.